The drama surrounding the Indiana Fever's playoff run has taken a life of its own, and at the center of it all is a mix of grit, resilience, and the ever-present shadow of Caitlin Clark. Against the odds, the Fever clawed their way past the Atlanta Dream in a thrilling Game 3 to advance to the semifinals, and it wasn't just a victory on paper. It was a statement. Down 5 points with only 2 minutes left, the Dream had an 84% chance of sealing the deal. By every metric, Indiana should have been finished. But this Fever team, undermanned and underestimated, refused to fold. Instead, they pulled off one of their most impressive wins of the season, proving that they weren't just here to participate in the playoffs, they were here to fight. For a team that has endured so much chaos, losing Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Sydney Colson, Ari McDonald, and Chloe Peterson, just making it to the semifinals feels monumental. They weren't supposed to be here. But here they are, a top 4 team in the league, celebrating in a way that reminded everyone of the heart and soul it takes to survive in the WNBA. Watching the reactions after the final buzzer, you could see what it meant. This wasn't just about a series win. This was validation. Much of the season has been defined by criticism of head coach Stephanie White, with fans upset over how she's handled rotations, schemes, and particularly her use of Caitlin Clark when she was still active. But in moments like this, credit has to be given where it's due. White has kept this team mentally sharp, held them together despite the revolving door of players, and delivered when it mattered most. Results speak for themselves. They are going to the semifinals. Kelsey Mitchell, who has seen the darkest days of the Fever franchise, put it best in her emotional post-game words. She spoke about having had 5 coaches in 8 years, about struggling through seasons where Indiana was an afterthought in the league. And then she spoke about White, how for the first time in her career she felt valued, not just as a player but as a person. For Mitchell, White has provided something she never had before: belief. That kind of buy-in matters, especially in the playoffs where talent is only half the battle. The other half is chemistry and trust. And speaking of chemistry, the Fever's locker room looks tighter than it has in years. Despite the setbacks, this team feels connected. That bond could be their biggest weapon moving forward. Imagine next season when Clark returns healthy and joins a roster that has now been battle-tested in the postseason. Contenders? Absolutely. The post-game atmosphere wasn't just about the players and coaches, though. Off the court, the Fever's official account wasted no time in clapping back at ESPN and other outlets that had picked against them. It was playful but also symbolic. They let their performance do the talking, then doubled down with receipts. In sports, that's how you do it. Contrast that with the drama swirling around players like Alicia Gray, who had a fan ejected for mild heckling, or Kalia Copper, who complained about booze in post-game presses. Even Angel Reese's infamous situation, which spiraled into a fake racism investigation, was brought up as an example of what not to do. The Fever showed how stars should handle criticism and opposing fans, by embracing it, thriving under it, and laughing in its face. When Indiana players were booed after their win, they smiled, they clapped, they leaned into the noise. That's stardom. That's how you win people over, even in enemy arenas. But all of this circles back to Caitlin Clark. Videos of her practicing in Atlanta, bouncing up and down on the sideline, had fans buzzing with one question: could she actually come back? Was it possible for Clark to return for the Fever's playoff push? At first, reports suggested her groin injury was the barrier. But then insider Scott Agnes revealed it wasn't her groin anymore, it was her ankle. And if that's the case, the door seemed at least cracked open for a miraculous return. After all, Clark has proven she can come back from injuries before. Just think back to her unforgettable comeback against the Liberty when she scored 9 points in 38 seconds, draining threes from deep like it was nothing. That's the kind of firepower the Fever could desperately use right now. Fans immediately started drawing parallels to Michael Jordan's second season with the Bulls. MJ missed most of the year with a broken foot, only to return in the playoffs and drop a record-setting 63 points on the Boston Celtics. Could Clark author her own sophomore legend, stepping back onto the court just in time to shock the league? On paper, the Fever have already proven they can compete with the WNBA's elite. They've beaten the Las Vegas Aces twice this season. Sure, Becky Hammon insists Indiana hasn't seen the real aces yet, but in the playoffs, history has shown us that anything can happen. Lower seeds can topple giants. And if Clark were to return even in limited minutes, the Fever would instantly become the most dangerous underdog in the league. There's also the business side to consider. The WNBA's ratings have cratered when Clark hasn't been on the floor. Her presence moves numbers. Millions of viewers tuned in when she played. If she were to come back in these playoffs, the league could be staring at 4 million plus viewers. For a sport desperate to grow, that's the kind of spotlight you dream about. But here's the gut punch. The Fever already ruled her out for the postseason. Once a player is removed from the playoff roster, they can't be added back in no matter what. That means even if Clark was physically ready, even if she begged to play, the paperwork locks her out. It's final. And for fans, that's a bitter pill to swallow. Maybe the Fever never expected to get this far, and maybe that's why they made the move. But now it feels like a missed opportunity. Still, the bigger picture is clear. Clark is on track to return fully healthy next season, and she'll be joining a Fever team that has already proven its mettle without her. That combination, her generational talent and their newfound toughness, could be lethal. For now, the Fever continue their Cinderella run without their star. They've got the heart, the belief, and even a bit of superstition on their side. After all, the lucky corgi who predicted their success is still rolling, and Clark herself has been spotted rocking black Air Force Ones, the universal symbol of taking no prisoners. Maybe fate really is on their side. Maybe this is the beginning of something special.